Okay, we're live. Wait a minute, start over. I didn't have it on speaker.
Hello, everyone. It is Wednesday, April 24th, 2019. You know, guys, I know some of the times the things I tell you in advance are far-fetched and hard to believe. But one more thing that I have told you and been telling you has finally started coming out. I hope most of you remember I told you. The Democrats, in the interest of buying votes in 2020, we're not only going to pay for college education, we pay for schooling all the way through, but that they were going to pay off all existing college loans, federal college loans. Well, now you know. Now you know. Elizabeth Warren, she has brought it up, but the others are falling in line with it. Now think about the number of people, young people most, that are out there holding $200,000 plus college loans, and they have the promise, if they elect the Democrat, they're being told they'll be paid off. It's an absolute lie. Will not be paid off. Cannot be paid off. This government cannot fund that type of program. But you see, I don't just tell y'all things. I don't just have epiphanies and make things up like so many on the internet. I told you it was coming, and it's here. Now, when you add reparation, when you add the hope of reparation for the blacks, when you have the taunting of free college for the young people that are just entering the voting booths, and then when you have the paying off their student loans for those that have graduated and are suffering, paid a lot of money for a college degree and they're waiting tables, they'll be forced to vote for the Democrats. So the plans are. Now, the other one I have told you about now has also come to the fore. Bernie Sanders, Harris, just about all of the candidates on the Democratic Party primary ticket are in support of allowing felons to vote, even while they're in prison. You may wonder what that's about. Let me tell you guys, if you add up all over the nation the number of people in prison, the number of felons in prison, and those that are out, that's a huge, huge voting bloc. And in some races for president, it's sufficient enough to turn an election. The problem with that is, think about who this voting bloc of felons are going to want to vote for. They're going to want to vote for politicians that promise to do things for them. They help the criminal, not the victim. If there was ever any doubt that our nation has just about gone completely nuts, there shouldn't be any now. So when you add up the new Green Deal at $10 trillion or something like that over 10 years, however many trillion, reparation, paying off college loans, free college, free health care, when you add all of that up, opening up the border so that everybody comes in at a price tag of $74,000 a year or more, where's the money going to come from? When you talk about and you hear about redistribution of wealth, paying off college loans is a perfect example of that. How many people in America college loans. Young people. Now compare that to the number of people in America that don't have kids in school, that don't have children with college loans. How about all of the kids that have gone all the way through school paying for it themselves? Think about all of us paying for that group that still owes a college loan. That, my friends, is wrong. It's wrong. Now, I agree. It's wrong that they ended up with that college debt. But the problem isn't the taxpayers. The problem is that of the education system. The universities. The universities have gone through the roof. They've got professors making huge salaries. They've got administrators making even greater salaries. And the students coming out with education are technically dumber than any classes ever to graduate. Figure it out for yourself. Now, today's Wednesday. Today is a day that I want to answer your questions. So if you're here and you want to ask a question, today's your day. Send them in through the chat. Hang on, I'll get them to me. But start now, get them in. The other news of the day, which is, I guess, worth repeating, though you've heard it, Trump intends to fight Nadler and Schiff, and Nadler specifically, his demands to indict or to subpoena testimony for Congress of all of the Trump people. And these are people that have been drilled and drilled and drilled by Mueller. It's hard to believe, in fact, that after 2 years of digging up any and everything they could on this president, it's hard to believe that this group of congressional people are going to be able to find something. The point is, they're not going to find anything. They know they're not going to find anything. They're going to make it up. It's just another reason to drag out the fight, to keep it going, to keep it stirred up until the time they find it proper for them to impeach the president so that it'll do the most damage to his presidential campaign. It's all so predictable. To add insult to injury on another matter, here was Hillary, I saw clips of today. She apparently, in some speech or whatever she was giving, she was stating that it's hard to believe that Mueller could find those 10 or 11 things with Trump and that anybody else that wasn't president would have been indicted. This coming from Hillary. This coming from the same person that destroyed emails, that destroyed servers, like those crushed, leached servers. Think about it. She had the audacity, the nerve to throw it in our face. And that's what she's doing, is she's throwing it in our faces. What Hillary's doing is what Hillary does. She's arrogant. She wants you to know that she is weak, and that we're all trash. That she can do whatever she wants to do. And she can say even the most ridiculous thing, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. Except in this case, I have news for Hillary. The investigation is underway. The truth's going to come out on Hillary. It truly is. And there will be indictments. And ladies and gentlemen, I sit here today and tell you my opinion, but I'll say it this way, pretty well proof positive. She will be indicted. She will. Now, what things that have to be done. We'll have to be sure that it gets thrown into a fair court, a just court, not a rigged court. And that's going to be hard to do. I'm not going to lie to you. That's going to be very hard to do. It's going to be almost impossible until and if President Trump wins his second term. Can't tell you what I know. But the only salvation for this nation, keep our Constitution intact, to keep one of the foundational principles of this country, separation of powers, comes with 2020's election, just as I warned you. Our judicial system is totally a socialist organization today. The socialists have taken it over. They've taken it over. It's not ours anymore. It's not constitutional anymore. It's a weapon of the elite. It's got to change. You've got to get it back. That's one of the reasons this coup has been so successful thus far. I'm not going to tell you the easy, because we have the fourth branch, the media, that is totally complicit, a part of this coup. And you know, guys, let me tell you, the coup, I've always said, was to remove President Trump from office. But I think today, most of us understand this is not just a coup to overthrow Donald Trump. It is a coup to overthrow our country. It's to take our country in a way prophesied by Nikita Khrushchev years ago. It's a way to take over our nation from within, from the inside. It's coming to pass unless we stop it in 2020. Now, the news today is saying, I don't know if it's true or not, that Biden's supposedly going to do his unofficial announcement tomorrow that he's getting in the race. Ordinarily, I wouldn't worry about it, but I do. Because Biden will come in and he will not proclaim socialism as strongly and loudly as all the other newbies that are running for president this time. He won't. It'll be the old style. But remember this, he is 100% a socialist. 100%. And do not forget, he was one of the prime liars and movers behind Obamacare. You may forget that, but he was there. Once again, I repeat, anybody has any questions, today is your day to ask them. Get them in, or comments.
Okay.
I'll be quiet. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we've got some questions.
Right.
I understand, but why and how do the Democrats expect folks to buy that relieving bad loans on our dime is okay?
I'll say that again, you cut out.
How do the Democrats expect folks to buy that relieving bad loans on our dime is okay?
They don't. They don't care. They're doing one thing, folks. They're buying the people that have loans and their families. They're buying those folks with that promise. The reality of it ain't going to happen anyway, and they know it. They don't care what we think. They don't care this time what we think. You know why? As I've told you. There's not this 20% swing vote in the middle today that everybody everybody's trying to win. There are people that either hate Trump and everything about him, or there are people that love Trump. That's where people fall. They don't care about us. All they're doing is lying to their base to make their base come out and vote. That's all it is. What else?
They couldn't follow the law. We want them voting on it. Do you think they're going to? Oh, I see. He's talking about the criminals letting
Right.
child molesters and murderers vote. They couldn't follow. They couldn't follow the law. So why would we want them voting?
No, that's the point. You wouldn't. They couldn't follow it. So you know what they're going to do? They're going to do everything in their power from prison to make sure they elect people that will change the laws to benefit them.
Yeah. Do you think? Do you think
you'll be able to prey on the public again?
Yeah. It'll be a chance to keep them in office.
I've never seen anything like the clip I have seen of Bernie Sanders when asked if he wanted to let the Boston bomber who killed a child vote, and he said yes. Unbelievable. What, man?
Do you think the evil Democrats will ever be put in jail?
They'll be indicted. Whole herd of them will be indicted. There will be indictments of people at levels in government unheard of in this nation's history. They will be prosecuted. But until I'm certain that they're going into courts that will be just and fair and honest, I can't say whether they'll be going to jail. But they will be prosecuted. This I say.
There are comments about socialism. Do you think Hillary had Seth Rich killed?
I don't know. Which one? I don't know. I will answer that this way. There are people with great, and I mean great, financial investments in the Clintons. There are people with the opportunity to profit beyond anyone's wildest imagination with the Clintons in power. And so the Clintons have always enjoyed something that most people don't have. I don't think they have to tell anybody to kill anybody. I don't think they need to. I think they know the people they serve, the interests they serve, will protect them any way they see fit. I do believe Seth Rich was murdered, and I believe he was murdered for what he knew, possibly even what he was about to do, or what someone thought he was about to do. But I cannot prove that in a court of law, so take it as my opinion.
Do you think President Trump will be elected again?
That's the tough one. That is the tough one. I will tell you right now, let's call all of the free college, the payoff the loans, the reparation, free health care, free everything. Let's call all that sweeteners. All right? Those are all what's called sweeteners in politics. With the sweeteners, they're offering their base. With the sweeteners, they're offering their base. With the media doing what it has done to their base to drive a wedge between them and Trump, and anything Trump can do or say or improve, it matters not. Add to that, he will be in the middle of being impeached during his campaign. And when you add all that up, it don't look good. It don't look good. However, we have one thing that can motivate our base that I believe still outnumbers their base. I do. And that is, if we can convince the Trump base, we're talking specifically the 60% soft base, if we can make them understand that this is their last chance to stand up and stop this country from becoming a socialist country, he can win and will win if we can do that. But we're going to have, I'll just tell you right now, we're going to have just numbers that nobody's ever seen before. We're going to have to get somewhere, this is my calculations, believe them if you want to, we're going to have a turnout of the 60% soft base somewhere between 85 and 95% voting in the 2020 election to pull it off. Did y'all hear me? 85 to 95%. To show you what that is, in a normal election, a highly competitive election, the bases respond somewhere between 30 to 40% participation.
Say that again?
In a normal election, a highly competitive election for president in the past, the soft vote for both parties, Republicans and Democrats, generally get a turnout between 30 and 40%. We're calling for 85 to 95% win. Now you're asking me why. I have taught y'all, I hope, the principles of politics over and over and over. I have told you about fear. Fear is a high motivator. It truly is. But what's the greatest motivator in politics? The greatest one. It ain't love.
The wallet. Pocketbook. Your pocketbook.
No, hate.
Oh, hate.
Hate is the biggest driving force in politics today. Now, that gives the Democrats the edge on Trump. Thanks to the media, thanks to all that they've done, the DNC, the Democrats, Hillary, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They generated a passionate hate for Trump. Passion. So one can somewhat believe that the Democrats are going to be looking, if I had to guess, and this is a guess, but I've extrapolated it every way I know how, they're going to be looking somewhere between a low of 40 to a high of 60% participation from the soft base of the Democratic Party. 40 to 60%. So that's what a strong motivator of hate. We've got to have 85 to 90%, 95%. We have fear. We don't have hate. We have fear. It's not as good as hate, but it's good enough. Good enough to do the job if we all step up to the plate and do our job. What is our job? Our job, for once in all of our lives, is to be and act like the Americans were supposed to be. This is our chance, yours and mine, to stop being the zeros and be heroes. We can do it. have seen to it. Socialism, never socialism, the fear of socialism is going to be a key element in Trump's campaign. So far, it's a key element. At least McDonald says they're going to do it in their senatorial races. And I'm still working on the House Republican caucus. But at least we've got some upper level support. We've got a big platform with the president. We've got a huge podium. That's going to help tremendously. But y'all should put in the bank this program today, because I have given you projections and numbers that today you may think they're pie in the sky. You may think they're crazy. Watch. I ain't much, folks. But in this business, I know what I'm doing. And you show me anybody else that could have told you they were going to impeach President Trump before he ever even took office. Sadly. You show me anybody that has told you all the things I've told you were coming. It didn't look like anybody could have known what they did. Last being, of course, paying off student loans. Remember when I told you reparation? Reparation wasn't even a whisper. Nobody never even heard of reparation when I told you all they was going to get us. I don't know what that means to you anymore. I don't know if it means anything to you. I do get perplexed. Seems like sometimes when I work so hard to double check and triple check and quadruple check and make sure that what I make sure of is right before I say it. And then to see so many people go off on a tangent with things that are just thrown out on the internet about a Q and 80 boots and all these other goofballs that are just putting stuff out. Pretty disheartening. But I shall endeavor to stay the course as long as I can breathe. Which may not be long enough. We're going to hope. Any other thing?
Yep. Some trivial ones. Will the federal law against marijuana be rescinded?
Federal law against marijuana be rescinded? No, it will not. Not during an election year.
Trump better hurry up and get tougher on the border. Is it possible for Trump's second term to remove the Federal Reserve?
No.
Do you think Trump?
No to the Federal Reserve.
Do you think Trump should close our borders, or will he close our borders?
Trump will have 2 more moves that he's going to try to do via executive order. And if those are blocked, I will not tell you what they are. You can count them. There'll be 2 more moves he's going to do to try to protect that border. And if they're blocked, then the border's going to shut it down. And when he does, all hell's going to break loose. And by that, I'm telling you, when he shuts that border down, some of his major support that he has received from some of the bigwig manufacturing companies in this nation is going to turn on him hard. And that's why he's been hesitant to do it.
Why will big business?
A lot of major support.
Why will big business turn on him?
Because they get so much stuff themselves from Mexico. And the automobile manufacturers at present can't function without Mexico's cars or the parts that they get. You'd be amazed at the number of businesses in this country, Walmarts, etc., all of them. They can't function without stuff coming from Mexico, China. It'll be a major slam to the economy, I assure you, when he shuts that border down. It'll slam this economy shut. And I would warn him, were I in a position to, or in a category that I would be asked for advice, which I'm not, I would ask you not to do it. He's going to have enough burden on him in this election cycle that he doesn't need that. But he understands very well the threat that border poses, especially now with the bust up of the caliphate in the Middle East and the fact that there are terrorists, one-way ticket terrorists headed to this country right now. What else?
Let's see. So deport them using our naval ships and military cargo planes.
You know what?
People are just making suggestions on how to deal with the border. Somebody says they won't impeach Trump. They'll bring charges. They can't put him out of office. Hillary will not get arrested. Trump will win. None of the stuff he said before the election happened. I know he.
Isn't it? And it's something. That's a fan that's been putting that out. I would say to that fan, you better double check your debt record, you fool.
Well, I think
By the way, I'm tired of pieces of crap like that putting their ass in.
Yeah, I think we got Chris in the chat room today.
Huh?
I think we have Chris in the chat room today.
Well, another sick person. She needs to get her medicine refilled. I'm sorry y'all have to put up with that, those of you in the chat room that have to look at that kind of stuff. But it comes with the turf. I have not asked any of you to make me your pope, your preacher. None of that.
So here's a suggestion that the Border Patrol should work with the militia. But they are, aren't they?
They are in some cases. And that's strictly upon the militia. If the militia works with the Border Patrol, I'm sure the Border Patrol would love to have their assistance, but it would be under guidelines and rules. And some militia people don't want to do that. Let me just say, guys, the border right now, our southern border is a dangerous place for anybody. Anybody. To be running around in there, and that includes law enforcement, and that includes the military. It's a dangerous territory right now. That's a no man's land. So I strongly advise against people who are not trained going down and taking the risk for your own sake and for the sake of our law enforcement people that are down there so that they don't get hurt trying to help them get the spot. I'm not against the militia. Good heavens, I'm not against militias. Never have been. But you do notice in the Constitution, by the way, it calls for a well-regulated militia. Well-regulated means well-trained, regulated, going by the rules. I'm sorry.
Why did they arrest the militia leader?
Because he unlawfully, apparently, allegedly, I wasn't there, I don't know, but from what reports I have heard, he allegedly, illegally held people captive. Can't do that. You cannot detain people illegally.
It's interesting they only arrested him and not the whole militia group.
Well, I'm sure they were trying to make a point. They didn't want to arrest the whole militia group that did it, or they would have. Point being, I think they're trying to let them all use it. Just make the point with that guy. I'm guessing. That's a guess, my opinion. What else you got?
How can Mueller's team, who mostly worked in some scale with Hillary or may have contributed to Democrat election campaigns, not be prosecuted for conflict of interest?
Well, they can't be prosecuted for conflict of interest. They were hired. They were hired. Unless they made misrepresentations in their applications to be hired, they cannot be prosecuted. But having said that, their opinions should be weighted in accordance with their histories. By that I mean they were biased, and that they should be judged as biased, and therefore the report should be judged as biased. They were as elite, to show you how clean Trump was, they were as elite a legal hit squad as has ever been put together in this nation with official business. I promise you that. These guys were experts at framing people. And by the way, don't believe me, their histories prove that. And they still couldn't do it. Still couldn't do it. The best they could come up with was slanderous, ugly stuff. Less flattering stuff, I guess you'd say. Being nice.
So what do you have to say about the church bombings?
Just that it's coming. The church bombings, I believe, in my opinion, are the first signs of the caliphates in the Middle East and Syria specifically being busted up. They've got those people headed out all over the globe. And they're going to find targets of opportunity in the places where people least look for them. And they're going to be damaged, and they're going to cost lives. Those will not be the last lives lost to those terrorists. Simply because those terrorists are not operating as a command and control structure from a headquarters. They left their caliphate with a mission in their head. They got the mission. They left. They will complete their mission. You know, I heard that, I don't know that this is true, but I think it's true. One of the people that blew up the thing in Sri Lanka, it was a woman, and she blew herself and her kids up. Think about that kind of mindset. And think about that kind of mindset being let loose in the world. And more specifically, think about that mindset being let loose with the hatred they had for America. And then more than that, think about the hatred they had for America. And we've got a southern border that is literally an open interstate highway into this country. And that's a prescription for catastrophe. And the next question you should ask is, how many bombings that could take place in America, like the church bombing in Sri Lanka or whatever, hotel, ballpark, mall, how many bombings would it take to put this nation in a state of panic?
Well, the one bombing at the World Trade Center did it.
Just think about it. Think about it if people were scared to get out of their home. Scared to go to a mall, scared to go to a shopping center, scared to go to a high school football game or a college game. They're scared to go to church. And what effect that would have on the economy? That's what they want. They want to hurt us deep. In the Middle East why they hit the World Trade Center. The World Trade Center was the symbol to them of our economy. Actually, it was the symbol of the economy of the world. Why they hit it. But this time, they're going to strike at what are called soft targets of opportunity. That's why they're called one-way tickets. They're going to go as far as they can go, wherever they're going, wherever they don't even know where they're going. They just head out, and where they get, they get. And then once they're there, they look for the biggest and best target of opportunity to kill the most people with specific instructions to kill babies and children. That's what we're fighting. Any others, Mariella?
Well, that's what we're fighting, but we're also fighting a Democratic Party that doesn't care about that happening. Because they think they're not going to get hit like that.
Well, that's the thing that's out of kilter today. If the Democrats, whatever reason they have to stay after Trump, even though the mirror report blocked, they're going to keep it going because they've got to keep this bitter hatred up against Trump, to keep their base hating Trump about everything he does. They got to. And because of that, they can't. Don't you see? They can't stop. If there was some issue to better the country or to protect the country, even save the country, they can't. Because if they do, then it lets them emphasis that they're putting on trying to keep their people hating Trump. They don't want to work with him. They can't work with him. They've gotten themselves in a position where that would be capitulating. That would be giving in. They're not going to do it. Let me give you the best way to think about it. I was going over this with our friend Ben. Imagine people that do nothing but watch MSNBC and CNN. That's all they watch. Everything they hear, they believe there. That's all they believe. President Trump, Bob Barr, could conduct an investigation. He could prove beyond the shadow of any doubt that Hillary and the DNC and the FBI and all of these people were in on a coup attempt. He can prove it. He can prove it's a coup attempt. And they're all 30 FBI guys, 30 cops, 30 Brennan and Clapper. He can prove it beyond any shadow of any doubt. And the people that watch MSNBC and CNN, you know what they'll say? They're lying. He's just a hack. He's just there to lie to protect Trump. That's what they believe, and you're not going to change it. Hey, any of you can do this yourself. Don't need to believe me. If you know somebody that firmly believes that CNN and MSNBC, what they say about Trump's true, go to them and try to convince them that the Mueller report proved simply that he didn't do it. See if you can pull it off. You won't. But see if you try. That's the power of brainwashing. That's what social engineering does. That's the power it has. You got it? That's the power it has. And they control the media. People say, well, but you got Fox. Let me tell you something, folks. Fox on its best days, in its prime time night programming of Tucker and Hannity and Law or whatever, their prime time programming, the most audience they ever accumulate, might touch 3 million. And that's exaggerated. 3 million. The same time at night, when ABC, NBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, and their sitcoms, the worst programming of the night, one that has the lowest rating, will have 11 million viewers.
Why won't you mention the fact? I'm going to emphasize what's in all caps. Why won't you mention the fact that catch and release is a presidential directive, not a law? Mary Ellen, check me.
That's right. But it has to be rescinded. He can't rescind it. If he does, it'll be put down.
By whom?
Judge, circuit judge.
So this is part of where the judicial system is part of the socialism that's coming, and they stand with the destruction of our country.
Say again, you cut out for me.
Sorry. The judicial system is totally socialistic. And so they don't care about the destruction of our country. Therefore, they will block any attempts to help the border.
That's right. That's 100% right. See, folks, it's that simple. One of our branches of government, executive, legislative, and judicial. The judicial branch is already gone. It's gone. Do you hear me? Gone. It is anti-American. It's anti-constitutional representative republic right now. Does that mean everybody in the judicial system? No, of course. But they have worked for years to make sure key positions, key places are taken so that everything is locked. It's a cold day in hell. Anybody will get a fair treatment in court today if you're conservative. You can forget it. You can forget it. It ain't gonna happen.
I'm gonna make a stab at this one. The question is it easier to brainwash people of low IQ than IQ of 100 or above? Brainwashing can happen at any level. If you are fed a lie and that's all you hear, you're going to believe it. And IQ has nothing to do with it.
Well, put that in perspective. If one is to believe through the technology, thanks to the computer, etc., that the millennial generation is truly the smartest generation in history, then that should dispel any rumors that the higher you are intellectually, the less apt you are to be brainwashed. The two don't matter. I don't think I'm saying that right, but it doesn't matter. You can be smart, you can be very well educated, but if all the way through the principles, the foundational principles that you have been taught and instructed to be wrong. Just because you know math, just because your brain surgeon, does not mean you understand politics. We've got proof of that every day. That's why they have taken politics and they've made it a profession of professional politicians. It's a profession. They make it hard to understand. It's a profession of lies. People are only as smart as what they digest. What else?
That's it.
All right. message of let's just all face the facts. Know the truth. The truth does set you free. Set you free to where you can at least make a rational decision. But if you're convinced that somebody else and how they think, they're smarter than you are, so therefore you just follow them and what they say and believe what they say, you're wrong. You're wrong. I don't ask you to believe me. I try to support what I say to you as best I can, for the things I can. So many people, especially now with the internet, if you have a tendency to believe one thing or a thing or a way, you can go on the internet and find a group and somebody that will talk and say the things you like to hear. And you'll go there. And pretty soon, if you're not careful, watch what's happening to you. Whatever they say becomes your thoughts. You gotta watch that. I have to. You think I enjoy turning on in the morning show and that Nichols bitch? You think I like watching 5 or 10 minutes of that and then going over to CNN? You think I like doing that? Well, I don't. And I'll tell you also, I guard myself from even watching Fox. While I believe they are way far superior as far as giving reasonably unbiased information, I still watch it. I have to be careful. You should too. If you listen to Limbaugh, be careful. If you listen to Hannity, be careful. If you listen to Larry, be careful. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's healthy. That's healthy for all of us. I don't know why. This is why God is God and I'm not. I don't know why He felt compelled to give us free will, unless He meant for us to have free will. Makes sense to me, I guess. He holds us accountable, I believe. I believe God holds us accountable for what we work out in our free will and what we abide by in accordance with our free will. Seems to me, if I was God, I'd save all the hassle and trouble. I'd just make everybody perfect. And that way, wouldn't have to worry about nothing. I don't guess he worries about nothing nohow, but seems simpler to me.
Then, Larry, he would think that if we loved him, it was just because he made us to.
What?
If he made us perfect, then we would love him. But he wouldn't know if we loved him just because he made us that way. by giving his free will, our love for him is genuine, not forced.
I understand, I guess. I don't, but I'll say I do. Question is, for everybody that hears me, we got anybody listening today, Marilyn, anybody in the chat room?
Yeah, we got 28 here.
Question today is, as it always is, what it always comes down to. It's up to each one of us to endeavor to engage in our way, whatever that is, it's small or large or whatever, to do our part. To do our part. Each one of you, do your part. Do something. Don't just sit back and do nothing. Because if you are, you've already agreed that you lost. I beg y'all to help, please. I need your financial help today worse than ever. Surely there's somebody with something to send. You have no idea how serious it is, how bad I need it. It's got to be somebody with $1, $10, $50. Why can't there be anybody with 500 or 1,000 that's willing to help? I give you everything I have. I'm giving you all I got. Maybe it's not worth anything, but it's all I got. The things I tell you will come to pass. You'll know them ahead of time. I promise that. With that, Marilyn, you got anything to say before we go?
Never socialism is such a crucial message for the next year and a half. I really plead with you to get a bumper sticker, get a t-shirt that says never socialism.
But today, let's not even worry about the trinkets. Today, if you can help financially, please send it to nicholslive@aol.com. This is what you call a red alert. Crisis. A crisis. Anything else, Marilyn, before we go?
No, that's it. Thanks for being here, Larry. Thanks for being here, everybody in the chat, everybody listening.
All right, folks, with that, we'll be here tomorrow. Good day.